started. It is Thursday, June 20th, 10 in the morning. Welcome those that are here in attendance, also with those that are watching, as Commissioner Wentz would say, the thousands that are watching every day diligently.
Should I ever quote him? Go ahead.
With that said, I'd like to start off with standing for a Pledge of Allegiance and then having a moment of silence before we start with the agenda. So with that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, yeah, see. And as we do on every Thursday open session, start with priority Carol. And me being a lefty, let's start from left to right. So, Commissioner Boucher.
Thank you, Commissioner. Well, this past weekend, I had the honor of attending the Marriage and Relationship Education Center fundraiser at the Farm Museum. It was a Roaring '20s theme, so I dressed up as a gangster, got some photos taken with some 1920s cars, and participated in raising money for something extremely critical, and that is families. Families are the bedrock of our community, and I believe that's the foundation of why we are so successful. So it was an honor to participate and help raise money for that endeavor. I also attended the joint Carroll Frederick Municipalities dinner last week over in Mount Airy. Mount Airy is unique in the sense that it straddles both Carroll and Frederick counties, so it was very impressive to see the cooperation between municipal leaders between the two counties come together and discuss issues that are very important to us. I was able to briefly talk about the opioid crisis, which is very important to me. I like seeing that collaboration between those two counties and all their municipalities facing something so critical and important to all of us, and that's addressing the opioid issue. Thank you.
Well, I just want to say the paper this morning was loaded with Carroll County people. We have a very proud father here, I think, on the sports page. And our own Greg Gottlieb was pictured in the paper out here for his playing, I think, this Saturday at Maggie. So it was kind of nice to see.
He is a rock star.
Yeah, he is literally a rock star. And just one, keeping with our theme today, it's going to be the library system. Tuesday morning, I will be at the North Carroll Public Library for the Chamber of Commerce breakfast, and that's always an interesting event, talking about county issues and where we're going, but the library system does a fantastic job there. And on July 23rd, right across from the Finksburg Library in Sandy Mount Park, I'll be meeting in the pavilion there to talk with constituents about just walk with the commissioner, talk about issues they have to deal with in that area. So I have 2 libraries in my district, so it's great.
And I look forward to being there on Tuesday to hear your words of wisdom, I suppose. A couple of shout outs. One, it is always nice to see the kids in the paper, but the testament really goes to the public schools, where Sam went and was one of the coaches from Commissioner Frazier for wrestling. And the article was about Sam in sports in college, but it really was the foundation of the public schools that got him to where he is today. So a real strong shout out to our school system, along with our workforce here in Carroll County. They, to me, are second to none, and just are doing some great work. I'm getting a lot of strong positive feedback from the responsiveness of our workforce, and as always, I continue to encourage the community to reach out to us with both positive and sometimes challenging or negative issues that we can continue to build on. But bottom line is we are here to serve, and that is our role. The last shout out I'd like to give is to the fellow to my right, Commissioner Frazier. After 39 years of public service in the school system, he has made the decision to retire from the school system. So anyone who serves for 39 years should definitely get the recognition. And I really appreciate the service he did to Sam and my son on the team, but also to our entire community. So thank you.
Thank you for that. I do appreciate that. I won't make the comment about the United States. Thank you. I just have a couple things. First, shout out to Rusty Green. I went to the Eagle Scout Court of Honor for him this past Saturday, so he got his Eagle Scout. I always like to mention names of Eagle Scouts that I go to because they do tremendous things for our community. You don't often hear about them. You often hear about the individuals in the community that are doing bad things. So Rusty Green, nice job. And a personal shout out to the Westminster Fire Company and paramedics. I was in a car accident I can't remember what day it was now. Thursday, there you go, last Thursday. So I wasn't here, I was in a car accident. I'm fine. I know everybody was worried, but I'm fine. But the paramedics came and they took, and it's just a tremendous job, professional job. I appreciate everything that the fire companies do in Carroll County, especially since it did affect me personally last Thursday. Thank you very much, Westminster.
Okay.
And with that, I have a proclamation to read. It has nothing to do with Westminster Fire Company, though. It's about Summer Discovery 2019. Whereas Carroll County Public Library Summer Discovery Program encourages lifelong learning habits by providing residents of all ages many opportunities to read, complete activities, and set learning goals. And summer programs at the library offer a variety of enrichment activities to keep children discovering over the summer, preventing the learning slide and loss of skills in students. And adults who read during the summer set a good example for the children around them, improve their memory, learn new things, and enhance their well-being. And the library summer discovery program is a free and fun way for families to stay connected over the summer months. Carroll County Public Library joins other public libraries across the country in presenting this year's summer theme, A Universe of Stories, by offering more than 100 fun and educational programs for all ages throughout the summer. Now, therefore, we, the County Commissioners of Carroll County, do hereby proclaim June 1st to August 24th as Summer Discovery 2019, and signed by all the County Commissioners.
Okay, so who do we have
We have
here?
Lynn come down and talk.
Sure.
Put her on the spot.
Where do I talk?
You can talk from the table if you like.
Well, good morning, and thank you for having the library here. We really appreciate it, and again, appreciate your support for the library system and our summer discovery program. So I was telling this young man right here about our summer discovery program a little bit earlier. Again, we're working closely with the Carroll County Public Schools, especially the elementary level. We've talked to every public school student. We've gone to every elementary school and promoted our program, encouraging that they continue to read and maintain those skills that they've worked so hard to have throughout the year, and that they don't slide through across the summer, because it's been proven in many studies how important that is for them to continue and not lose those skills that they've worked with. We're excited to have teens and young adults at our library. We have the same program for them, just a variety of programs that would be of their interest. And again, adults also. I thought that proclamation was interesting with the maintaining memory, and I had a customer come in and they were interested in one of our book clubs because they had been in our community for several years, but they hadn't met many of their neighbors, so they really wanted to come to a book club and just have that engagement with their fellow community. So that was awesome. And so throughout the summer, June 1st, it began. We have, I think, 1,000 kids at least signed up already. So we're really excited about the participation this year. And again, it goes through August 24th.
So proof is in the results, or are these two young ladies?
Well, we have
part of that?
3 Darby children right here. Maya is 14. She's she's come to the library since she was very little.
Okay.
Attended story times and a variety of programs, and she's an awesome volunteer. She puts in many hours at our library during the summer and also throughout the school year too. So, and then we have Cora and Neva and their wonderful mom, Kristen. So we're really happy to have them as library
Cool.
customers.
Maya, I want to put you on the spot. Why do you do what you do? Why do you volunteer?
I just love reading.
Uh-huh.
Like the library, it's one of my favorite places. I just like to read ever since I picked up the first book.
So what's your favorite book?
Probably this one.
The
I have
current
right here.
one you're reading.
Escape from Mr. Limicella's Library.
Well, cool.
By Chris Gravenstein. One of my
Awesome.
favorites.
And Maya writes for our for our writer's block. So that's one of the, she does reviews. And do you write creatively on the writer's block? So that's an awesome opportunity for our teens too.
That's awesome, making it interactive. Okay, with all that said, why don't we take a photo?
That'd be great.
All those that are involved in this, why don't you come on up?
Maya, do you want to give each gentleman a t-shirt? Give them each a t-shirt and you want to give them each a button. Now you're going to help.
You guys are quite generous today. You guys should visit more often.
All right.
You guys are the focal point.
Right in front, little ladies. Okay, they're not.
Hey, hold your shirt up.
Yeah, I can't do that. Last but not least.
You're a resident for 5 years.
One more picture, Matt.
He wants Maya.
I'll put you guys up.
Maya, have a seat.
You guys can sit like the office. Sit in the chairs.
Rub you over here.
I'm claiming this one.
Okay?
Get a new photo. They're the new commissioners.
Yeah.
They'll probably make better
Want to
decisions.
hit the gavel?
So just had an upgrade.
know about that.
That was a great idea. Now we have to worry about them running for office again.
That's right.
Couple years. There is an age requirement.
That is really good.
Cool. Good job, guys.
Very nice.
Thank you very much. Keep up the good work. One day you'll be in office.
Thank you, Lynn, for the battle of the books and all you do in the library, and all, everybody involved. Thanks. It's unbelievable.
Excellent program.
Now, if you'd like to sit through this, you're more than welcome, but you may not want to, as we're going to now go into the agenda. So first item, public comment on request approval to submit grant application and accept grant award 2020 VAWA State's Attorney's Office. Who do we have? Ashley and Karen?
Pamer.
Who?
Ashley Pamer.
Oh, Ashley Pamer, there you go.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
I am Ashley Pamer with the Special Victims Unit of the Carroll County State's Attorney's Office, and our unit addresses the challenges of prosecuting domestic violence and sexual crimes and working with victims of those crimes. This unit includes 3 prosecutors and an advocate who aggressively prosecute domestic violence and sexual assault cases, shifting the focus of these cases from victim responsibility for prosecution to offender accountability. The unit holds perpetrators of domestic violence and sexual assaults accountable through implementation of pro-prosecution, evidence-based prosecution, and victimless prosecution models. Training is another priority of our unit, with training taking place for the unit's prosecutors in the specialized areas of domestic violence and sexual assault, as well as continued training of law enforcement. The VAWA grant supports the salary of the DV prosecutor, which opened 398 domestic violence cases in 2018. The county provides the required match for the VAWA grant by funding the balance of the DV prosecutor's salary and benefits. Does anyone have any questions for me regarding this grant or what our unit does?
This has already been budgeted for the county match,
That's correct.
Yes.
so.
Is this the first time going after this grant, or
No, we've been for over 20 years receiving this
so
grant.
there's been a continuation?
Yes, yes.
Has the price increased dramatically, or has it just been a COLA type of increase?
So it's been stabilized for the past couple of years, and GOCAP has limited the funding to the request of fiscal year 2019, which was $55,453 last year. So they've somewhat capped it.
The 398 cases last year, is that an uptick or is that about steady?
About steady. We handle between 350 and 450 cases a year.
Wow.
Unbelievable. I'll move that the Board of Commissioners approve the submission of the FY 2020 VAWA grant application acceptance of the award.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
That was
Thank
tough.
you.
Unanimous.
Have a lovely day.
Same to you.
Okay, public comment on briefing, let's see, bid approval, work order, asset management software, and we have the crew. Okay. Gentlemen,
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
in harmony.
Great. We're here today to request your approval to purchase a work order and asset management software system from Dude Solutions. Pause for any jokes. In the amount of $31,163.25.
Was it a competitive bid?
It was a competitively bid through a national purchasing cooperative, and we're going to piggyback
Okay.
off that bid. Yep.
Is this the first time we've used Dude
Dude
Solutions?
Solutions, it is.
Wow.
I almost thought that was a misprint when I was reading it the first time.
Otherwise, it'd be dud. That would be worse.
I know.
You don't want that.
Where is Dude Solutions located?
North Carolina. Cary, North Carolina.
Okay.
Are they surfers?
We'll have to ask.
Dude Solution. They at least have a sense of humor.
I guess for the viewers, could you give us a little bit of backdrop about what it does and how it will actually help the county?
Absolutely. This is it's a mission-critical technology program to provide facilities and budget with a streamlined approach to facilities management. Currently, facility staff shuffles paperwork back and forth from staff member to staff member. Those staff members add data to that paperwork, and then a clerical staff enters all that data into the system. So this would allow the technician or any staff member who's involved in the work order process to enter that data into the system directly, immediately, so the manager has access to the information. It also allows the manager historical data of the county asset to begin short-term planning on repair and placement of specific assets or long-term planning of specific assets. So again, it's going to just streamline that process and allow us to better capture the data and formalize maintenance plans and schedules for the specific assets within the program.
As a business owner, I'm all about efficiency, and I think this will bring efficiency to your department.
Absolutely, it would.
I believe Commissioner Rothstein was a big, strong advocate of this during the budget process. So I thank him for bringing this forward, too, in the budget process.
And this system is currently used by Carroll County Public Schools. They use it system-wide on all their sites. It's used most recently. Carroll Community College has incorporated this particular system with them, and the city of Westminster uses it as well. So they all have high compliments for it. We actually went to Carroll County Public Schools. They provided us, I think on 2 separate occasions, some demonstrations on how it works, and I think it fits well with how we operate.
Using the same vendor?
That's correct.
Okay. And it's well within the budget?
That's correct. Now, this is part of the FY20 budget.
Right. Okay.
Can I make the motion, the Board of Commissioners award a contract for the purchase of a work order and asset management software system to Dude Solutions in the amount of $31,163.25.
Second.
There you go.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Dude.
Okay. Facility condition assessment.
And we're not done with Dude Solutions. So now that we have the software, we'd like to award a contract again to Dude Solutions to perform a facility condition assessment in the amount of $125,729.22. Again, this will be awarded off a competitively bid national cooperative contract. And this is kind of to collect all the data and get everything set up in the system for the first time. But I'll let Jason tell you a little bit more about this project. This will be a one-time project.
Yes, this is a one-time cost. So they'll take what data we do have and formulate that into the program. They'll also do field assessments. So they'll come out to each site and look at our systems, plumbing systems, and certain components of these systems: plumbing, electrical, HVAC, parking sites, structural, and roofing. They'll analyze that data, put that into the system, and then we can begin to generate our PM schedules, generate our short-term and long-term planning for replacement and repairs.
Now, how's this interface with IT here?
This is all cloud-based.
Oh,
So it's all held off-site. The information belongs to us, so if at any time we want to go in a different direction, we can get that information and go in a different
And
direction.
what about security?
That is a question I have not asked them specifically on their specific back end.
You mean IT security of
Yeah.
their system?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
of any information, county information, I'm just
Right.
questioning, what's happening elsewhere throughout the world.
Mhm.
Well, throughout the state, and I appreciate the question. I wouldn't expect you to have that answer, but knowing that our governor just appointed a CISO for our state dealing with cybersecurity this week, there's a lot of attention and resources being put on cybersecurity and protection of data that's being moved from one place to another, whether it's within the county or within the state. So the sentiment, is important to understand
Absolutely.
anytime we're moving information. 'Cause my question is, are you familiar if the data center that this company is using, is it all based in North Carolina, or are there remote facilities, or?
That I
you
do
don't
not know. I
Okay.
certainly can get that information
No,
for you.
And that's fine.
My guess is they're probably remote facilities. That would be my guess. And
Right.
generally, I find it, we do have a lot of this stuff now on the cloud, and that's generally safer
Right.
than a lot of the, not just our county, but a lot of the government agencies. It seems like the private sector's a little bit ahead of the government, so I would trust probably a cloud-based system.
A good leader said, "Trust but verify." So I understand, and
But yeah, we can certainly find out.
The,
Get details.
this system is in place with Westminster and also the public school system.
Correct.
Correct.
This system,
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
I would like to know about security on this stuff before we move forward. Really is an issue that I don't think we ask much of, and we may want to in the future.
And I can say, this particular company has been very responsive to any questions I ask, so I assume as soon as I go back to my desk and I shoot off that email, I'll have something for you today.
Are you okay to move ahead with this, Commissioner?
I'd like to, I mean, just in the world we live in today, I would like to know how secure all this is, what measures we have to have it secure. I'm not totally opposed to moving today, but yet I'll make sure it is secure information. Anything out there today, I think we have to go a little bit overboard and get those answers first.
Yeah, and that question would probably honestly more pertain to the first approval that you made about the software, not so much the legwork to do the assessment, but probably would affect the first
Well,
purchase that we just
yeah.
approved. So if you want to get answers on that, it would probably be more relevant to the first
Well, I think,
approval.
we can still move forward with this, but and I don't want to say anything's continued, but asking the questions.
Sure.
And like you said, if they're responsive, as I imagine they would be, to give a response that they have had a, 100%, secure, environment over however long period of time. That would be my expectation,
Right,
from them,
absolutely.
especially if, again, Westminster, the public school system are using it, and I'm sure a whole host of others are using
Yes.
this company. But it warrants asking that question, so, and being aware of it. So, okay. With that said, do we have a motion?
I move that the Board of Commissioners award the contract for the facility condition assessment to Dude Solutions in the amount of $125,729.22.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
and you're still, who's staying up here? Okay, C-Click Fix software purchase. Gentlemen.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning.
Doug Brown, Deputy Director of Public Works. Scott Graff is our Project Manager in Public Works.
Yeah, and we are here today to request your approval to purchase and integrate the C-Click Fix software. We're going to actually buy the software from the company C-Click Fix, in the amount of $82,500. This is going to be a 3-year contract, so it's $27,500 annually. Again, we're buying this off a competitively bid contract.
Okay. Scott, if you, Scott will give you just a little quick brief. I know we've been before you before,
Yep.
but for the purposes of a refresher on what C-ClickFix is.
And this would be for infrastructure and abatement issues, such as the calls that roads gets about potholes, tall grass, things of that nature. It can be expanded, but it would be very much a public-facing, interactive software where instead of calls and emails and Post-it notes and all those types of things flying back and forth, the Commissioner's Office, Public Works, permits, we can all go to the same spot, input the question or input the complaint, and it will go out to the right person, and when it's answered, we can all take a look.
So it'll
at
make
that.
our lives easier too.
Yeah, but we believe it'll not only make your lives easier, particularly it'll make the lives of those who chart your course upstairs, your administrative professionals.
Yes, they do a tremendous job. by
They
the
will
way.
have access that if an individual calls in, they will be able to search the database by address, by last name, or even look at a map to see if there's anything going on in that area. So they could provide an immediate response that we've already got it in the system. It's already been dispatched to our roads operator. Thank you very much. This plan also, to begin with, will be a soft launch, so an internal soft launch of about 6 months, where we will update, we'll take what we have right now in our roads. So for example, today, right now in roads, we have 275 active issues that we're working on throughout the county. Our administrative staff will go ahead and upload those 275 issues so that we can see internally how it's operating, as well as those people who Scott gets trained from your administrative staff upstairs, essentially to any county employee. We'll be able to log on, enter that data, and then we'll be able to track how it works. Once we're sure it's working well internally, then in about 6 months, we'll be able to work with Chris Swam, who I believe you said is already aware of the issue. And we will have an external button that our citizens then can cut out the middle person and go right in, log in their issue, log in their contact information, receive an immediate email response back that we did get it, along with what our criteria is, and we can go from there. So we look forward to not only improving eventually our customer satisfaction, but the big concern here is we get so many things, you all are aware of it, and they come from so many different directions with so many different subject lines, we're afraid we're going to lose something. And our number one priority is customer satisfaction, and this is going to help us to do that. Going back on your last question, security-wise for this application, it is HTTPS SSL with an OAuth 2 token authentication and encrypted password storage.
I know what that means, do you?
I know you do.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I knew you would. So, yeah.
That's good.
It is set up to encrypt our data. It is our data again, and
Right.
with that, but that's kind of where
Are there
we're at.
jurisdictions within Maryland using C-ClickFix currently?
Absolutely. Your next door neighbor?
Howard County uses it, Hartford County uses it, Baltimore City, and Anne Arundel County, I believe.
And comments on it have been very positive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
So you expect this to be up and running in December for the public?
It would take about 90 days, I think, from the time they get the go-ahead to move forward with this to probably have a product ready. And at that point,
So the product ready is what you mean for internal use?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
6 months after that?
Yes,
So
sir.
look at 9 months down the road and to get it, okay.
Now, is that time-driven, that 6-month period, or is that just a feel-good period of testing it out internally?
Based on internal discussions we've had with our Carroll County team, that's essentially a feel-good period, because we want to make sure that, again, we are under-promising, over-delivering kind of
Sure.
concept. When we turn it on to the public, we want to make sure we've got any and all bugs worked out. Because, for example, if you submit a zoning complaint, which you would be able to do here, neighbors, weeds, or blah, 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 we want to make sure that when that zoning complaint went in, that you hit the correct button, it went to the correct zoning email address, they essentially got that, handled it, and it was done. We want all that worked out before we turn this on in a public aspect, because we don't want anybody in electronic limbo. And that's our biggest thing. While we believe in this, to do it, we're not losing our personal touch. You know, our biggest thing is when we get out there and talk to people, they understand who we are, we return the phone calls, we go meet them on site. Our customers love that. We're not going to lose that part, but this is going to help us to organize electronically everything we deal with in-house.
And I just want to mention at this time, what you're doing there, that one-to-one service and positive service is great. And I think the constituents of Carroll County really appreciate what you're doing on that. And that is really setting the tone for the rest of the departments in the county.
It's a team effort from the top down, and the top's you all. And certainly the support of everyone that we have, not the least of which is our county administrator sitting right over here, who really backs us up, and then you all listening to us.
You had me until that point.
Well, you know, truth be told, it is a matter of staff knows that you listen to us, that you want to hear from us,
Right.
that you believe in us, and it's easy for us to bring that information to you.
Well,
So
you're
that's-
doing a
that's
great
how it
job of
works.
that. So.
I appreciate it. The decision to go, out to the community, that 6 months, that decision to turn it on, are you going to come back to us to do that, or is that something that you can, I mean, for me, you're the experts in the field,
Yeah, I would.
and you're the leader running this, so,
I would say we'd like to have it, for my taste,
Uh-huh.
and if everyone concurred internally, we would work through this process, we would come back up to you, because in addition to coming to you and saying, okay, we're ready, we've done all this, we'd have a public launch day, we'd demonstrate it right here on television by entering a fake request through our portal, and then at that point, we'd do the media blitz and campaign to get it out there.
Okay.
If you approve that we're ready to go.
so the focus on that, to me, should be task-driven, not time-driven. So if there's a level of confidence
Sure.
that's in 3 months or 4 months, that you do not wait the 6 months to come back to
Certainly.
us.
Certainly.
And focus on task. It sounds like this is a program for efficiencies for our community.
Mhm.
It's a opportunity for quicker responsiveness for the community.
Yep.
So the sooner we get this out with, zero glitches, the better we're gonna be.
Sure.
Is this
absolutely.
gonna be tied to our webpage?
Yes.
Our front of the webpage?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, when we splash down, they should be
Right.
able to see that. And again, the other thing that we'll need to work with you all with is what we name it. Because it can be named differently when it's seen out there on the webpage, and if you look around, we'll come to you with a few potential solutions, but we'll have a naming campaign as to what we name our button and the program.
I like the fact that you'll have a central data collection point for the history of any case. As a
True.
new commissioner, one of the things I'm always aware of when a constituent comes to me, the first thing I want to know is how long it's been ongoing, what the
Right.
history of it is. So this will be very helpful for all of us to analyze what we can do going forward with any new case or ongoing case that we see.
Certainly.
So thank you.
Sure.
See, to me, this is C3 Carroll County Cares, so
Well, there you go.
that's, and I appreciate the comments, so, okay.
I'll move the Board of Commissioners award the purchase and integration of the C-Click Fix software to C-Click Fix Incorporated in the amount of $82,500.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Is this going to be called Doug's Fix It?
Scott's.
Scott's
fix it.
That way if it falls apart, you can blame him.
Award acceptance, level 1 screen funding. Miss K. Miss Kickboxing, Celine Steckel. All right.
Morning.
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 Commissioners, currently Maryland's Community Options Waiver Registry has approximately 21,000 individuals waiting to apply for services. A little bit, in a minute, Celine will talk about what that waiver covers. However, in the fall, Maryland Department of Health is going to begin prioritizing that waiver registry to ensure individuals with the highest level of need are able to access services through that waiver. So Maryland Department of Aging is providing additional supports and a temporary increase in funding so we could increase our staffing hours to handle the larger volume of individuals we're expecting will contact the Bureau of Aging to complete what's called a level 1 screen. The total cost for this particular grant is $11,586. I believe that was an allocation from the state. You want to talk a little bit about the waiver?
Sure. So currently in Carroll County, we heard the statewide number, as Christine reported, was 21,000 individuals are statewide on the waiver waiting to apply for services. In Carroll County specifically, we have 493 people that are on the waiver registry. 64 of those individuals have not completed the Level 1 screening. The Level 1 screening is a tool that assesses the individuals on this community option waiver registry. And in the past, the individuals did not have to have this Level 1 screen before they went on to the waiver registry. Now that requirement is changing to rebalance this waiver registry and prioritize those individuals. So we will see the increase. We anticipate those 64 individuals that are on the waiver registry now that have not been screened will be forwarded on to us via letter. They will receive a letter telling them to contact our office specifically to provide this service. A Level 1 screening, we have 3 certified screeners in our office right now, and the screenings take approximately 1 hour on average. Some of them are longer. It just depends what the needs of the individuals are and the other referral sources we have to provide to them while we're doing the screening. The other piece of this is that previously this used to be a fee-for-service reimbursement model. The state has transitioned, the federal government has transitioned through the state to the FFP processing, the Federal Financial Participation process, that we have the point-in-time study that is sent to our staff that are providing this service. They get an electronic, an email asking them what they're working on at the current moment, and if it is related to this Medicaid reimbursable responsibility, then they get credit for that, and our reimbursement reflects that. The cap on the total reimbursement that we can receive is this $11,586 for the fiscal year. But we do quarterly reimbursement requests related to the amount of time that our staff have spent on these activities throughout that quarter when we request those dollars. And the state provides us with that amount each quarter to request our reimbursement. Did you folks have any additional questions about the grant?
What's the range of services they are applying for here? I see.
So these services that they can apply for are services to help them remain in the community that can include in-home aid support, durable medical equipment support, facilitation of, helping them to apply for long-term care medical assistance. These are the supports that are provided through the waiver registry. The Level 1 screening that this grant funding is for is just the tool, but the waiver registry services are much more involved with the community options waiver. And the other thing I wanted to clarify also is that we don't only use the Level 1 screening for the waiver registry. You also will see that as part of our senior care program application, because we are also prioritize those individuals through this screening tool as well. So we typically right now do about 25 Level 1 screenings each month. But we anticipate that once the individuals get these letters, there will be an influx because they'll all be getting the letters at the same time.
Is this a one-time staffing grant?
This is a one-time, yes.
So are we going to now have to put this into our budget next year? Or is this, will be a continuation grant like from the state?
I think.
How's this work?
So I think our plan is to increase current staff hours. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So we won't be actually hiring a new position. And then their hours will go back down to what they currently are once these funds are expended.
And I think that the hope of the state is that once that they prioritize this list, then folks will be enrolling in the correct way, and the typical Level 1 screenings that we're doing each month will then level back out. So it won't be a continued need.
So this just to handle the influx of anticipated additional people coming in quickly.
Once this mailer goes
Right,
out in the
yep,
fall, and the
gotcha.
date has not yet been identified.
We're not planning to put this in our FY '21 budget unless it's reimbursed by the state. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that, my
good
concern
question, yeah.
is, it's nice to get a gift, a grant, but if we have to now own it for years to come, it becomes a pretty serious cost, so. Okay.
Approximately how much of our population is above 65? Do you know, percentage-wise?
I know that we have about 33 to 35,000 estimated individuals in Carroll County over the age of 65.
All right, against 170, I think, is our gross population.
167, 168.
Okay.
168
Yep.
right now, I think.
Just shy.
And that's steadily growing. I think the median age of our population is growing up as well.
Absolutely.
Every year.
Told last year was 50,000 people over the age of 60.
I
Something
don't
like that,
remember.
Carol.
So by,
Makes
I think,
sense.
2030, they're estimating about 56,000 individuals over
Right.
the age of 65 in Carroll County alone
Right.
By 2030.
by 2030. So, and that's why the census count for 2020 matters, so that we can get an accurate
To
count
help
of
you guys
our
out. You guys
older
do a
adults.
tremendous service.
So once again, that's why the 2020 census count
That's
matters for the thousands that are listening to us this morning. And I appreciate, again, and applaud the work you're doing in being proactive and focusing on our senior population, so.
Okay, I'll make the motion that the Board of Commissioners approve the Level 1 screen grant submission and acceptance of the award.
Have a
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Nursing Facility Program Education Federal Financial Participation, Matching Funding Grant. Hello.
Hello. So this, this grant was formerly known as Money Follows the Person, or MFP grant. They've changed the name and how we're being reimbursed. The purpose of this grant is to ensure that individuals residing in nursing homes are aware of services and financial supports available to assist them to return to the community in a less restrictive environment. Excuse me, the total cost of this grant is $6,480. Excuse me, and there's no county match. Celine, you have anything?
Sure. I wanted to introduce Christy Mattingly in the audience, is our program coordinator for our home and community-based services waivers. And then Deirdre McCollum is actually one of our case managers in the program, and she has been assigned to help with the coordination of this nursing home or nursing facility program education funding and to coordinate the referrals. So I wanted to acknowledge them in the audience today for the work that they do. This program is really geared to assist people transitioning out of nursing homes and other institutions to go back into the community by providing options counseling, which these folks do. And the option counseling can be done, it's done in person. We receive referrals from the nursing homes. We receive referrals from other community agencies for people that they have heard of that may want to come out of the nursing home. So what we do is we take that referral and we go out into the nursing home and talk with them about what their options are. And sometimes folks say, that's not what I want to do. I want to stay here. But other times, they definitely need assistance in maybe making sure they have their long-term care medical assistance application completed and other community resources that they might need. And they have fears about what they may need in the community to be able to live outside of that nursing facility. But this is geared to help them transition. And so that's what our folks are doing when they go out. As Christine said, this also has transitioned into the federal financial participation reimbursement system for the payment options. It used to be a fee-for-service structure, just like the Level 1 screening. And so this has also comes through that time study that our staff receive and respond to, that they're working on a Medicaid-related, otherwise non-reimbursed service that we have through other Medicaid paid grants, but also that they're working on this program education or something related to that for these individuals.
Are these services marketed or tied into senior centers? And the return on investment of that marketing strategy, how you're doing it within the senior centers, are you finding positive results that you're getting folks involved?
So we talk about this service and we talk about this to individuals, but we also market it through our other staff within the Bureau, especially our ombudsman program, because those staff are in the facilities. So we get referrals for the ombudsman staff directly, because we're targeting those individuals that are currently in a nursing home in that setting so that they can come back out. But the return on investment, I think, because we were looking just today at the transition of those who actually are referred for options counseling and those who actually move through, there are a lot of situations that may change that dynamic, including by the time the process comes to fruition, their medical condition may have declined, so they're no longer able to move out into the community. So, but we do see an absolute benefit, because it is a cost savings also to be able to serve these individuals in the community rather than in a long-term care setting.
Absolutely.
And just some statistics on this. In fiscal year 18, we completed a total of 41 options counseling sessions to individuals in the nursing homes, 13 of which were completed by the Freedom Center staff, which is our Center for the Independent Living. And we had a partnership with them in previous years, but the way that the grant is outlined now with the FFP transition, we are not able to continue to partner with them, but we can internally maintain those younger adults with disabilities in our program and provide that option counseling to them ourselves. And in fiscal year 19 so far, we have done a total of 31 options counseling and nursing facility program education to individuals, 8 of which were completed by the Center for Independent Living, because the grant for that ended in December of 2018.
Is that the reason for the decrease from 31.41 or
FY19 is not over yet. We have
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Or whatever, a week? Okay.
I like the fact that this ultimately saves the county money in the long term, and there is a return on investment, so I think it's very worthwhile.
Okay, with that, do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion. The Board of Commissioners approves the Nursing Facility Program Education FFP Matching Fund Grant Submission and Acceptance of the Award.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Scott. Come on up and let's talk about FY 2020 Motorola Solutions Agreement, right?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
I am Scott Campbell. I'm your Director of Public Safety. And as you said, Commissioner, I'm here to discuss and ask for your authorization to proceed with the FY 20, how do I have it worded correctly? Maintenance, support, and upkeep agreement with Motorola Solutions for the county's emergency communications system. And it truly is a system. There is a significant number of different sub-networks and systems, from radio system, microwave, et cetera, that's involved in this. So I think the term emergency communication system is most appropriate. Specifically, the agreement provides, as your brief shares, a variety of levels of support and maintenance of the county's emergency communications system, including 24/7, 365 support, which means if we have an issue, we get immediate response and resolution. It addresses our paging system, our microwave system, our logging, data logging, and voice recording systems. If it's involved in our emergency communication system, this agreement addresses and supports it. It also maintains the system technologically current continuously. There is no lag. If something new comes out, we receive it or upgrade it, we remain current. This is an anticipated expense. It's fully funded in the FY 20 operating budget. I simply do not have the delegated authority to proceed without Commissioner concurrence. And again, as a FY 2020 expense, we're simply asking for approval at this point so that when the FY 20 begins, we can make a seamless transition with no interruption in the support. So I respectfully request authorization to proceed.
How long have we been using Motorola?
I'm trying to think, Commissioner. I know that our previous 800 megahertz radio system went online in the middle of the 90s, but I do believe, and unfortunately predates me, that's why I'm being hesitant.
It's all good.
I know at least, I'll say for 2 decades. I just don't know if it was purely Motorola or a combination, because prior to that we used a 2-frequency low-band system that was serviced locally. So I'd say a minimum of 2 decades that we've been a Motorola Solutions customer.
The services provided by Motorola, does it come up for competitive bid after so many years, or is it a...
All great questions. Motorola
appreciate
Solutions does not, well, I shouldn't say they don't. They are just now apparently starting to get into the actual Motorola field officers or regional folks. Typically what they do is they're very selective, and they will find local firms to be their hands-on. And in this case, Hankey's Radio out of Frederick is the radio shop that would provide our service. And I say that because we are blessed to be in their area. Hankey's has been extremely responsive, and I think the public deserves to know what a remarkable job they do of supporting us. If I may, I know I'm digressing, but we just had an incident with a paging system issue in one of the busier parts of our county. And the chief had noticed that there was issues with the paging system. I reported it to their shop after the dinner hour. The next morning, I think about 8:15, I got a call saying the issue was investigated, resolved. I mean, to me, that's priceless. And that's how we notify our fire rescue EMS providers. The involvement of Motorola Solutions, it's proprietary. We have a Motorola radio system, so Motorola supports it. And they are very organized, if you will, as far as who they allow, meaning this is not something that could be bid to see if there's another radio shop out there somewhere else. We are within Hankey's radio support area, so the cost of the support, et cetera, is a function of that affiliation. It's not that we could go to a Hagerstown or a Cumberland or a Cambridge firm and see if they would do it for a different rate.
I appreciate it, and definitely, I don't believe that's digressing. I believe giving a good example of success and why we're using,
Thank you.
Motorola Solutions and Hankey's radio, is a good testament. So,
Make a motion, the Board of Commissioners authorize the Director of Public Safety to execute the referenced FY 2020 agreement with Motorola Solutions and approve payment of the resulting invoice as proposed.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and now it's time to maintain, support, and upkeep the agreement, right?
This is the same type of arrangement, but this support is for the CMARC, which is the Central Maryland Area Radio Communications Committee, the regional assets that we have in the county as part of that affiliation. Please think of it in terms, this same Central Maryland as the Baltimore Urban Area Security Initiative, or UASI, those same jurisdictions. From 2006, Carroll County has been a partner in that effort. It's had a commitment to make its shared support. This is a planned expense. It is the same dollar amount for every jurisdiction. It's part of this combined support. So again, because of the value of the expense, I cannot proceed without Commissioner concurrence, and I respectfully request that authorization, so I may proceed.
Okay, and I apologize to commissioners. We approved this with the last motion, which was dealing with with CMARC, as opposed to just authorizing you to move forward with
Shows help.
Motorola Solutions as proposed.
I
So-
apologize. So
No, it's
I
all-
was
it's all
writing
good.
down the vote and the thing, so that was the motion to support the CMARC?
Well,
That-
the motions are virtually.
Yeah, the motions are almost the same.
Yeah,
It's just looking at
right,
the
it's just,
different
we
things,
were
so-
looking at the
Right.
CMARC page
Right.
as you were having the conversation earlier,
Unfortunately, in our books.
But that's
the pages
okay.
are backwards.
Yeah, but
But-
right, the
Did I
motion's not
you're
much
right, they're
difference at
virtually
all.
the same,
Yeah,
so.
I'll make the same motion for this.
Thank you.
How many
The
other
only difference is
jurisdictions
approve the resulting
use
invoice.
Motorola
Oh, that use Motorola?
All of them?
in the state?
Commissioner, I'm not familiar with a jurisdiction in the state that doesn't use Motorola.
That's-
I do know one of our neighbors to the north doesn't, but in the state of Maryland, I cannot think off the top of my head of a jurisdiction does not. I know all our neighbors do. I know all of our neighbors do.
No.
Frederick, Howard,
Yeah.
Baltimore, Montgomery, the city of Baltimore. Matter of fact, the state, Maryland First, is a Motorola product. Even the state's, the governor's statewide communications is a Motorola
So they kind of have
issue.
a monopoly on the state.
I struggle with the term monopoly, but Commissioner, they definitely are the radio system vendor for the state
I would say
of
they're more
choice.
the choice or vendor for the state than
Yes.
Yeah, I
saying
get it.
monopoly, but.
But your point's made.
Hankey Radio, though, you shared their value and success that they have for us. Are they also used by the surrounding jurisdictions, Hankey Radio?
For those, Commissioner, it's a great question, but for those that fall within their designated region, I know that Frederick County, and I also know Loudoun County and Carroll
Okay.
County are three of their largest. And I would say
Wow.
that those two systems, those other two jurisdictions are as big, if not bigger.
Right.
So we're probably the smallest of the three big customers that Hankey supports.
Okay. Okay, so we have the motion, which is the same motion.
Same motion.
Do we need to
Scott,
make an
ma'am.
adjust?
Just for clarification, the only difference between the two motions on your briefing papers is this approved payment of the resulting invoice for the CMARC, and that's not on the other.
Thank you.
Is there
Ms.
any
Wyndham. Thank
real
you.
distinction there? Do they? would
No,
you
it's
suggest the
strictly,
board
That's strictly, I'm sure, a matter of when I actually wrote the brief, but I do respectfully request the authorization not only
Right.
into the agreement, but then, of course, your permission to pay the resulting bill that we will get. What this will result in
Right.
is Motorola Solutions and Ms. Nobles will do the appropriate paperwork, show that
Right.
we have authorized this.
Right.
Then we will be invoiced for it, and then we'll sign it when it's appropriate to do so. So I do respectfully request the authorization to do that as well.
Right, so the motion that I moved, the Board of Commissioners authorize the Director of Public Safety to execute the FY 2020 agreement with Motorola Solutions as proposed is adequate. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So.
Was there a second before, or we need one there?
No, you need a second for this
We
one.
need
I'll
a second.
second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank
Better
you,
safe than
Commissioners.
sorry.
We got you out of that one.
Thank you.
I was like, what?
Thank you.
Sorry, we just had the papers backwards.
Save me having to come back. Thank you.
And Mr. Campbell, thanks for your tours of both the primary and the secondary facilities. It's very helpful for me to understand the vast magnitude of what you guys are overseeing with the technicalities of all of this and how important it is for our public safety. So thank you very much.
Actually, we owe you a thanks for showing the interest and for seeing it, and honestly, we wouldn't have those facilities if it wasn't for the support that we get from this group right here. So you make
Keep
it
up the
possible.
good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Ripper, come on up. Bid approval, Carroll County Public Network Maintenance Contract, and then the next 4 or 5. Go for it.
You're gonna be busy.
Thank you, Commissioners. As you stated, the first one is for the Carroll County Public Network Maintenance Contract. This is an amount of $82,099.49. It's only 7.6% of the purchase price, which is an extremely good maintenance contract. They're usually in the 15 to 20% range. It's something that we do on an annual basis. It is part of the fiber network contract that we have with Skyline Network Engineering, LLC, which is a 5-year contract that we're currently in the middle of. That contract is rebid every 5 years, and we're asking for your approval for this to support what we call the edge devices. If you think of the fiber as the highway, the edge devices are the on and off ramps for people to get into the highway and back out again.
It's an interesting analogy, thanks.
So we're working with Skyline Technology because they're the ones that set up the system that we now have, and they're the only ones that can maintain it, is that right? Or-
No, anybody
No?
else could maintain it. The last time we went out to bid, we actually
Right.
had 2 bidders. Skyline was the successful bidder for that, but it will go out to bid each time, every 5-year period.
Okay, it's 5 years. So we're in the middle of the 5-year that we just had a
Yes,
competitive bid
Commissioner.
for.
Yeah, it was just
Right.
like, it was
Right,
last
okay.
year.
Yeah. So, and about 30 other jurisdictions use the same contract that we do with Skyline here in the
Okay.
state of Maryland.
Gotcha.
I'll move the Board of Commissioners approve the maintenance contract for Carroll County Public Network Equipment, $82,099.49.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Couldn't get that rounded off to 49 cents dropped.
Well,
I'll
that
work
one
on that,
grant-
Commissioner.
I don't know if anyone noticed, but that grant was 7 cents.
Yeah.
It's like, really?
Court Smart Support Services.
Okay, this particular product is what the Circuit Court of Maryland uses to record all of their cases. It allows one individual to sit in a location and to be able to record multiple court cases going on at the same time, collecting all of the information as far as what people are saying, what's coming up on the screens, what's being shown in the courtroom. This is the annual maintenance for that contract. We've had the Court Smart software now, I think, for about 7 years, and this is to continue the support of that software.
And
In
this
the
was
amount of
with-
$36,444.82.
This is within your budget?
Yes, Commissioner, it's
Got it.
budgeted every year.
Has the price increased over years, or is this a,
It's gone up a little bit over the years, but not a whole lot.
Excuse me, in the details, it states this is used on all the district court cases, as well majority of the circuit court. Is there a reason it's a majority of the circuit that doesn't overwhelmingly?
Well, the court system's a little strange in the county in that we are the primary support for the Circuit Court of Maryland. We take care of all their IT needs. The district court is actually supported by the state. So some of the district court systems have this same software, but they're not actually part of Carroll County IT.
Gotcha. Thanks for the clarification.
Sure. So the amount that we're spending is for the Carroll County portion of that.
Thank you.
okay, we have a motion?
I move that the Board of Commissioners award the contract for the digital recording system support services to Court Smart in the amount of $36,444.82.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you're on a roll. Microsoft Engineering and Consulting Services.
As you are aware, your office was actually just recently upgraded. We are moving our Microsoft products and the Microsoft Office email out of house, where it's not going to be stored on our computers anymore, but it's going to be out in the cloud. We began the project about a year ago. We actually began the installations about 6 or 7 weeks ago, and we have about another 7 or 8 weeks to go with part of that process. There are a couple of things here. One is the fact that this is the first time we've been in the cloud, and that we've got to make sure that we are interfacing correctly with our routers and switches to the outside world, that the data remains secure, that there are no holes in it. We have actually already used this contract to get us to the point where we are today. This money is budgeted in the operating budget, so I cannot carry it forward into the next fiscal period. It was originally budgeted for this particular project. So what I'm asking is that the $33,750 is about another 150 hours of support. We don't think that we're actually going to need that much, but since I can't come back for funding in the next fiscal period because I don't have anything there, we're asking to, and this does not spend the whole budget. There's still another 20 or 30,000 there, so we're not trying to spend all the money, but we want to make sure we have enough for any additional things we need to do as far as getting it up and operational. The other thing is, Commissioners, is there's about 4 or 5 new tools in this software that allow for collaboration of documents in the system, where people can share things not only internally, but if we have outside people, we can actually share reviewing of contracts and those types of things. Our staff has never worked with that, so this contract also includes them coming in and assisting us in learning about those things and making sure that we have them up and operational correctly, because we've never had them on our system before.
The $33,000 is to spend out the rest of this fiscal year, so in other words, the next 10 days for consulting
No,
services?
Commissioner, I'm sorry, let me explain that a little bit better. The $33,750 is being encumbered, meaning that I can spend this money in the next fiscal period, but it's coming out of the FY19 budget.
It's an accounting requirement, basically, in order to keep the FY19 money in the operating, to be able to be spent in FY20.
Right.
Okay, so this is not to spend in the next 10 days. This
No,
is
correct. It's to
pushing
spend in the
forward.
next several months.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But it's FY19 money, so we use the term encumbered.
Okay.
So it's sort of locked away.
Okay.
Make a motion, the Board of Commissioners approve the purchase of Microsoft Engineering and Consulting Services in the amount of $33,750.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Annual renewal of maintenance and support for the Mitchell-Humphrey Financial Management System.
Okay, Commissioners, what we're actually asking for here is, again, annual maintenance. We've had this product for several years. The amount this year is $56,940. The Mitchell-Humphrey FMS, Financial Management System, is used by anyone that needs to have any access to their financial information, where they've spent to this point in time, what it's been spent on, how it's been spent. And the Budget Office initially populates this software with the amounts that were in the budget in order for us to be able to move forward with this. We have a couple hundred users that work with this software on a regular basis.
All the department heads happy with this? I mean, the use of it?
Yes, everybody. In fact, most people, if you've been here for a while, they're actually very familiar with it and happy with the way that it works.
So again, is this the same as before, the $56,000 to roll over into FY20, or is this $56,000 to be used in the next 10 days?
No, this one is actually for the fiscal year ending FY20.
This is FY20.
Right,
It's
it
a
starts on
maintenance.
July 8th. That's why I'm up here today, is so that we had your approval and plenty of time to be able to actually enter into the contract on July 8th.
How competitive of a bid is this?
It's not a competitive bid at all. It is sole source. When we purchased the Mitchell-Humphrey Financial Management System, that was competitively bid out on the market, and it is used by several other counties in the state of Maryland.
So does it come back up for bid? as a competitive bid, Mitchell Humphrey?
Only if we were actually to replace the system at some point in the future.
How long have we had this system?
I'm not exactly sure, but I'm going to say it's been at least 6 or 7 years, if not longer. It's not something that you'd want to change on a regular basis unless you were having problems with it, because it is the financial system of the county.
For the entire county.
Right, no, I understand, but any system, we should have the opportunity to know what other vendors are out there with a like system that could be a better product or service for our county, as opposed to saying this is not a competitive bid and this is the choice we're using for perpetuity. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, we should, I'm not saying there's a bad thing.
Right.
Right.
There will come a time, any of these systems are over time do change.
Right.
But this kind of a thing is, any of these county-wide systems, like our time and attendance system that we use, you know, are huge projects to change from one system to another, so it's not entered into lightly. So they do
Right.
have a longer life than
Right.
your basic, construction contract. or
And I
something.
agree with that. I just want to know what the longer life is,
Yeah.
what time period, and that we ensure checks and balances on the vendor for the services, and hold them accountable, as opposed to saying that this is just a long-term
Right.
service.
And let me assure you, Commissioner, that Charlie Beckard, who is the head of the programming staff, very much has good checks and balances on this vendor, make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. Again, the price increases have not been dramatic at any point in time over the period that we've had the software. If they were to come back in any given year and the price jumped up to $100,000 or $150,000, then I think you're absolutely correct that we would have to go out and look at what other possible options there are. But the system does work very well, and the support has been very good from them.
What was the original
And they do
cost?
have a national users group that we attend every year.
What was the original cost of the system? Have any idea?
I don't remember, Commissioner, off the top
I
of my
mean,
head.
it's significant.
It was a significant amount of money, yes.
It was a significant
Yeah,
program
it's- I
change
mean,
from whatever the system was we used previously. I mean, this is, this kind of thing usually takes a year or two, maybe 3 if you really start at the very beginning when you identify the need that something needs to change, and then you research what, you want to do, and you go out for bid, and then you get the bid and the award, and then you have to migrate all of your data from the old system to the new system, and make sure that it's accurate and consistent, and and then train all your folks. So again, it's not something you change lightly, but it is
Yeah.
something we look at all the time.
Absolutely, and I mean, the holding a vendor accountable in checks and balances, the biggest, effort we have is knowing that it's a competitive bid. And again, I don't disagree with this service. I'm just curious how we got to where we are with this service. In federal government, they're called IDIQs, where it's indefinite time and quantity. I don't think that's how we do, these type of efforts. But it sounds like that's kind of where we're at with this. It's a system, we're happy with this system, it's a consistent system. We hold them accountable through, the folks that are, you have working for us. I just want to make sure that we can hold their feet to the fire, and we're ensuring that we have the best services for,
The money.
the money that's being allocated, that's all.
Yep, yeah, no, definitely, yeah.
I think we've had this discussion previously, so.
Any of these large systems, whether it's the emergency communication system you were just talking with Scott Campbell about, whether it's this, whether it's our our time and attendance system, we have multiple systems that you migrate to them, you work with them for several years, you'll make sure that they are keeping, that they are meeting your needs on a consistent basis. You go to your user group meetings, you start to know when they're falling behind. I mean, we just did a big change. This system, FMS, I think is only about 8 years ago when we changed it, so it's really not that long. We just did a big change on our the software that supports, it's called Keystone. It supports all of our 911
Okay.
and you know, same kind of thing. We had a system. We found that the users of the system weren't really being satisfied over
Right.
time with what service and what functionality the system provided, and so we effectuated.
Yeah,
that.
and again, I appreciate
Yeah.
that. It's also holding us, you know,
Right.
as commissioners accountable to make sure
Sure.
with these decisions.
Sure.
That we don't become complacent because just the way it is,
Right.
we hold on to it. So again, I don't want to go too far into this. It's just
Sure.
curious how competitive a bid it
Right.
is, how long we've had the service, what are the checks and balances on them, how we hold them accountable. Also ensuring that we're held accountable in making these decisions. And we don't just roll over.
The maintenance
So,
and support
yeah.
is tremendous on
Okay.
these programs, and we just look at the dollars and cents we're going through, but that's what it takes to
Yep.
Yeah.
operate today.
Yeah, it's a change in the world today. The
Yeah.
computers that, you know, used to, you sort of had the front end where you paid a lot up front and then paid less for the overall maintenance. We're
Right.
finding that that there's a little lower cost in the front, but the maintenance over time, because they have so much more work to do to keep them up.
Right.
today.
Okay.
I move the Board of Commissioners approve the annual maintenance to support the Mitchell Humphrey Financial Management System, FMS, for $56,940 and no
Second.
cents.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, one more. Annual renewal of maintenance enhancement and support for community service point. Go
Yes,
for it.
again, this is fully budgeted. This is for FY '20, where we'd be renewing the contract again. It's for a total amount of $28,650. Community Service Point is a web-based data collection tool by the WellSky Corporation. It is used for homeless management information system to document and analyze the extent of homelessness in Carroll County. And I have Miss Christine Kay in the audience here if you had any additional questions. This is one package that I'm not overly familiar with, but it does come out of our budget.
Christine, are you satisfied with it?
That's all we
I mean,
need.
any issues dealing with it? Please.
We did look at other systems last year. This system is used by most jurisdictions in the state. We're required through the federal government to have a HMIS system. This was comparable in price, and is also, the state can download data directly from HMIS into their data warehouse, which is also now a requirement with no issues. So it's the best system for us, yeah.
You believe this is a vendor of choice that's being used with other jurisdictions, or you don't know?
I'm sorry? Oh,
Is
yes.
this a vendor being used throughout the state?
Yes.
Okay.
I think there's 2 jurisdictions that don't use it, Baltimore City being one, and I forget the other, but.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. We have a motion?
You want to go this time?
Make a motion that we purchase of the annual maintenance, enhancement, and support of community service point software for $28,650.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. good
Thank you very
job.
much.
Thank you.
Okay. Any public comment? No public comment that I see. Any administrative comments?
I want to bring up 2 things. Just bring them up right now. I'd like to see them on the agenda shortly in the future when we can all get together again, whenever that would happen to be. But 2 things I'd like to see have to do with economic development. I'd like to see part of the money that we put aside for IT and infrastructure for businesses and all to be earmarked for main streets in Carroll County, so that the businesses on main streets that need help funding their last mile hookup, some of that money would come from the money that we've already set aside. Right now, the money's set aside in the county use, which is fine, but and I don't even know if the main streets need it. They might already have all the high-speed stuff that they need.
They all have Comcast. They're all served by.
So
Comcast.
if they're served for it, then it's not necessary,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not what I was told, but anyway.
Okay.
But if there was a need for it, then we would help them out as
They're all
well.
required by our contract to be served by Comcast.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, by our contract, they're required to be served by Comcast.
Okay. Then we guess we don't need to do that one.
If they're not, then let Mark and the Cable Regulatory Commission know, because.
Well,
that's
I
the
don't,
problem.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I don't know, I just,
Yeah.
But I think
But
having
that
a
the last mile
conversation.
thing was.
Yeah, well, we can
Yeah.
certainly bring Mark in and have that
Yeah,
conversation.
okay.
That's no
Yep.
problem.
I think it's- Yeah.
Another economic development thing that we're not doing right now is,
You sure?
pretty sure about this. Actually, I talked to both these with our economic development department.
Okay,
Did I just hit
IT and
something?
economic development, two different.
But anyway,
things.
is some other communities across the country have started to do this, where they have given X amount of dollars. My suggestion is $5,000 toward closing costs for people that move into Carroll County that are telecommuters. They're already telecommuting, therefore we're not putting any additional cars on the road during rush hour. We're not doing anything like that, but we're moving, what do you call it, high-tech jobs into Carroll County with actually no expense to us at all, except giving them something toward closing on a house. And the reason I want to do it that way, because then they're part of the community. They've bought in already. The money, I just think it's a win-win for Carroll County. Other communities that have done this, they limit it to 100 new people a year or whatever. I don't know if we would have to do that within Carroll County, but if we came to need, so many people want to take advantage of this, we could limit the number as well. But you're getting high-tech jobs basically in Carroll County that way with no infrastructure, no cost, anything like that. Just $5,000 toward closing costs on a house. So now we're getting someone else to buy a house in Carroll County as well. And it's just something to bring up for discussion in the future. I just want to throw it out there so you guys know what we're going to have. And I would like to try to get it on agenda as soon as all 5 of us are here.
We'll try for July. I mean, we have everybody will be here on the 27th, but we already have a pretty booked schedule,
Yeah.
so if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, I mean,
July.
it can go, yeah, that's fine.
I think it's a good idea. I think 5,000 may be arbitrary number. It's like, what
Yeah, right.
incentives?
It is,
Right.
it is, and
So
we
I
could
agree.
discuss that as
Right.
well. Be honest with you, other communities I looked at that do this, they give 10,000.
Right.
But
Right.
again, that's just
Right.
an arbitrary number.
Right.
So it could be whatever
Okay.
we decided,
No,
but
it's a
I
good
would think it'd
idea.
have to be a significant bite,
Yeah.
so people can say, okay, that's why I'm moving to Carroll
Right.
County, that's what made me look in Carroll County.
Right.
Commissioner, we'd have to make sure that this wouldn't require enabling legislation also, so it might be something to bring up with the delegation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best practices in making legislation.
It may
Okay,
end up
gotcha.
being. Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
we'll have a few staff members.
Okay.
Vet the idea too.
We done that discussion?
I'm done.
I would like to try to get Mr. Burke in front of us on July 11th to discuss and brief us and discuss the Charter Writing Commission. Give us an education on what it would take to approve a Charter Writing Commission, the legalities.
committee?
Yeah.
The committee?
Committee or commission, however it's referred. And also, if possible, Board of Election Director Barry, if she could also debrief us on the timeline potential we'd be faced with. So it'd be the two of them together to fill us in on the technicalities of those, of appointing that Charter Writing Commission or committee potentially.
I'm going to have to cancel my vacation to the Dominican Republic because of this.
Yeah, please do. We want you alive.
That's probably a good move.
Happy to do it if that's what
Would that date be a good date or?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm just thinking, does the board first want to have a discussion about whether or not they want to go?
Well, I mean, I
down?
thought it'd be a briefing.
Yeah,
about
I
this.
Just a
think,
briefing.
yeah, I think
To
education.
have an open discussion about the briefing. We don't have to vote on it.
No.
But I think it's important for us to have education on it as well.
Sure.
I think Commissioner Rothstein's opinion on this issue from the very beginning is spot on about educating the public, educating us, and this is all part of the ongoing process of educating us. So I'd like to thank Commissioner Rothstein's initiative on this.
Yeah, I think, yeah, no decisions are made. I think continuing the education process is a smart way to do it, so, okay.
haven't discussed this yet, too.
No, that,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
what, I think it's
Okay.
all part of the process unfolding.
I do too. Okay, any other administrative?
Yes, I do. Just,
Yes, ma'am.
you all should have minutes from the last closed, so you would need to adopt the closed minutes from, what date was it? June 13th.
June 13th, okay.
It's closed for land acquisition.
You have the opportunity to review. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the closed land acquisition discussion, June 13th, 2019?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
You abstain.
I do want to bring up, sometime when Commissioner Wance is here, the letter from Worcester County and the mandatory sprinkler thing, but it's not fair to do it while he's not
Right.
here, so I'll wait until appropriate time.
Did you want to do that in administrative, or do you want to set time in the agenda to have a discussion?
No, I think we'll bring it up in administrative session in the near future, next week sometime when we have,
We'll all be here next week.
I mean, I can
Maybe.
bring it up today
Lord
and
willing,
we can act on it, but he is
car
a
accidents don't
major
let us.
component. I don't want to do that
Right.
without him present.
Okay. Okay, any other administrative comments, ideas, thoughts? Okay, agendas?
All right.
Oh, we have a new person taking care
The Lady in Black.
Okay. Let's see, Monday 24th, we got nothing. Tuesday 25th, Carroll County Chamber breakfast with the Commissioner Weaver.
Oh, yeah, that's
And
gonna
right
be
now
an
we have
outstanding event.
Commissioner Weaver, Frazier, and I will also be attending that breakfast. Maryland Public Television Proclamation presentation, Commissioner Wance and Rothstein. Carroll County Public Library, Westminster Branch Exploration Commons at 50 Eastgate. Groundbreaking. We have Commissioner Wance, Rothstein, and Frazier attending at 4:30. On Wednesday, we have the EAGB meeting in Columbia. I will be attending, Commissioner Rothstein. Thursday, we have closed admin, and then we have a full agenda. So let's see. County funding of, we're going to be talking about the dog parks, county funding of dog parks, Public Works Design Manual for Roads and Storm Drains, approval for extension of term contract for professional land surveying services for FY20, transfer of funds, and accept operating budget resolution, Zero TAC 19.10. We have a bid approval, briefing discussion decision, bid approval, change order for Schoolhouse Road Pumping Station project, bid approval for Roberts Mills Stormwater retrofit and bridge superstructure. We have a grant award, a discussion decision for Carroll County Stormwater Management Restoration Projects. Briefing discussion on impact fees. Okay, on impact fees. And let's see. At 7 p.m. on the 27th, Charter Government Questions and Answers in the Reagan Room. Commissioner Boucher and Frazier in attendance. And there's a Mako event on Friday with Commissioner Wance at 6:30 p.m. And Commissioner Wance has the Commissioner's Report for that week. There's also at 3 p.m. Let Freedom Ring Parade down in Sykesville, and I will be attending that.
It says you're judging.
I will be judging. I will be attending and judging. You're right.
You're not competing, or are you too?
Okay, we have a very full agenda for the following week. Monday, nothing. Tuesday, nothing. Wednesday, the 3rd, nothing. Thursday, the 4th. Happy 4th of July. And the county office will be closed both on the 4th and the 5th.
I like that week.
And Commissioner Weaver has the weekly report on Sunday, July 7th. Any additions or missing?
On that subject, I don't want, I want to move to a prior subject, but I don't want to.
Okay. Comments? Yes.
Okay, so unfortunately, the 11th is already pre-booked. We have full open session in the morning, and then we have the work session on the rezoning in the afternoon, so maybe slide it to the next week, if that's okay.
That'd be fine.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate you bringing it up and recognizing the schedule and conflict.
Yeah, well, I get. there's a
That's
reason-
why we have you
There's a reason I
over here.
have this here.
You help keep us straight.
Everybody, my little
Okay.
bees, let me know what's going on.
Good.
With
Thank
that
you very
said,
much,
do I have a
Roberta.
motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are done.
Do you have anything to stop?